happened right at the end of a segment instead of in the middle.
Right?
Right.
Can you guys confirm if the stream's up?
Let's see, got Twitch pulled up a second ago. Says live was black.
Okay, might take a second.
There we go.
maybe.
There we go.
All right. That's
That should do it.
unfortunate. Hey, all of our 2 listeners are probably gone now. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll just transition into the end of it and continue on. I would like to apologize to anyone. My internet in my house went out kaput. Don't know why. Hopefully that doesn't happen, at least until we get this shit done. So, so I think that'll do it for our main topic today. I want to give a huge kudos and shout out to GameRant.com who wrote it. It was really well did. Good job, Glenn Carreau. I'm sorry if I slaughtered them. But we really enjoyed this, and I think that everyone should consider bringing some of these locations into their games.
100%.
All right. Before we move on to our Unearthed Tips and Tricks segment, we have another gift to give away. What are we giving away today again, Ian?
We are giving away Villains and Layers 2. Revolutionize your game with this collection of 28 villainous NPCs, from Small Fry to World Under, 8 of which include maps and details of their lairs, sinister side quests, terrifying overlords, bounties, one-shots, and more lie in wait for you inside.
Yeah. Who is our winner, Austin?
Looks like Alexandria Howe is our winner today.
Woo!
Great!
Yeah! Congratulations, Alexandria Howe. If you enjoy the adventure, please, or if you enjoy the product, please let Jeff Stevens know. Leave him a review. If you didn't win, once again, have no fear, because we are here as long as my internet stays. Head on over to critacademy.com/Jeff Stevens and get access to Villains and Layers 3 free.
Free.
Yes. Now, on to our Unearthed Tips and Tricks segment, where we bring you new and reusable material for both players and DMs. Ian, would you like to tell us about our character concept today, since it's yours?
Our character concept is the Drill Sergeant. This grizzled war veteran is tired of training a bunch of worthless maggots and wants to get back in the field. And when they're out there in the field, they will not hesitate to tell his party members when they are not following proper combat doctrine. Often, when they are trying to uphold even the most basic forms of discipline, they may be perceived to be a control freak, when in reality they just want those low-life maggots and every one of his brothers and sisters in arms to come back home in one piece.
It's fair. It's oftentimes why they yell at you so much.
This has actually been in our UTT database thing for a long time. I think it just kept getting pushed to the bottom, but this is actually a pretty a not so uncommon trope, I think, especially for the person that wants to play the older character. I think that this fits really well into a campaign with somebody who takes like the soldier background. It really fits that theme really well. Tie it into a fighter or something like that. But I love the idea. He just yells at everybody. So even in the middle of like a diplomatic mission with a super important noble, he says, "What did I tell you about eating with your fingers, son?"
Could you imagine this is like what is it? Is it Rogue Mastermind? Is it Mastermind where you can get the help
yes.
action? Could like dabble in that a little bit. So like even though you're yelling at him, you're actually just giving the help action.
Oh, dude, that is so awesome. Boy, didn't I tell you to put your elbows out when you're drawing your bow? Help action.
Sir, yes, sir.
This is really cool. What are some other cool ways? I think if you're a drill sergeant portent wizard who can bend the dice in the other person's favor, instead of it being like a futuristic seeing, you're judging their tactics and telling them how they're doing it wrong and trying to get them to do. Boy, did not tell you to keep that back straight when swinging that sword. That's
you can also be a bard with your cutting words.
Yes, I love it.
How many times have I told you guys to focus on one enemy at a time so we can therefore take less damage as a whole group?
you could even be a barbarian, so like you can tell him like, "This is how you do it," and you go in, you
Rage.
just break the dude's neck, and you're like, "This is how you kill a man."
I really like that.
Sarge, we're completely surrounded. Excellent. That means we are now in a target-rich environment.
That means we're heading the right direction.
Oh, that's funny. It's a great concept, man.
You
Thank
could do a lot of. You could make this like with a lot of classes. You could do
Oh,
a
yeah.
whole lot of stuff with this.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
When I first when I read this, I was thinking, do you guys ever watch Major Payne?
Yep.
I love that movie growing up. How are you doing, my little Brussels sprouts? Today you have graduated. You are no longer maggots. You have been upgraded to worms.
Holy shit.
Oh man, I would have a lot of fun with that.
Congratulations, you are no longer turds. You are now promoted to maggots. That's what it was.
That's
Oh,
funny.
sorry, I got the quote wrong. Thank you for correcting. All right, that'll do it for our character concept, the Drill Sergeant. Our monster variant is the Gelabdur. These remorseless dwarven creatures of Livingstone often serve earth titans and powerful mages. Their rock-hard nature is harsh and unrelenting, much like their fire cousins, the Azers. I need to fix that. Unlike their fire cousins, the Azers, they no longer serve their masters of the elemental chaos, choosing instead to slip away to the material world. They have a penchant to disguise themselves as boulders and ambush their victims.
Oh god, now I have to be afraid of rocks. Great.
Oh, what do you
Oh,
see?
it's such a rock. It's not a rock. I know what it is. I've smelt it before.
Whoever smelt it dealt it. I didn't do it. Did that boulder
It's
just
the
talk?
rock!
So for this stat block, you're going to use the ogre's stat block, and you're going to make some changes. You're going to change it to a medium-sized creature. It's now an elemental. The javelin is going to be replaced with rock throw, which basically means it's now going to do bludgeoning damage instead of piercing. And you're going to change the term great club to just slam, because they don't use weapons. They just beat you with their rock stone hard fists.
I guess.
You're gonna give them some new features. They're rocks. They're gonna get burrow 30 feet, right? They're dwarves and they're rocky. They can dig with their fingers. Vulnerabilities though, because they're rock, they're vulnerable to lightning. Because they're rock, their resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical weapons. And my two favorite abilities. You're going to give them false appearance, and while the Galabdur remains motionless, it is indistinguishable from an ordinary boulder. And once again, oh, by the way, we did that Pokemon episode, and somebody brought up the Golem. That's where I found a similar monster in 4E because of that. And then you're also going to give it Earth Glide. The elemental can burrow through non-magical walls, unworked earth and stone, and while doing so, the elemental does not disturb the material it moves through.
That's
so
weird.
Doesn't leave a hole behind like a wormwood or something. So, what do you guys think about this?
I would hate to be grappled by this thing.
Yeah.
Because
No,
I'm suddenly going to get dragged through some earth and he's going to be gliding through it. I'm going to get crushed instantaneously.
just leave you there, like those guys from the Philadelphia experiment in the side of the ship, and they're just like, stuck on the side of the metal or the stone here. I really like this one because I thought we needed another variation on dwarves, because you've got the regular dwarves, then you got the Duragar, and then you have the Azir, which is like the fire. And I found this one in one of my 4th edition books. So that was the inspiration for it. And once again, it just gave another flavor to enhance your Dungeons and Dragons world. I do like the idea of like an entire like room of them as like a trap. They just hang out there, and that's where they take the nap, and you have to kind of walk through, otherwise you aggro all of them and you're fucked.
This is a weird cave. For some reason, those boulders are really spherical.
This one looks like it's got a butt on it.
That's a little odd.
Your Facebook butt.
Oh my god, that'd be funny. Do you think that they shit pebbles?
I don't know what they would shit, dude.
Oh, dude, that's the rock. What if they just drop a rock load into their hand like a monkey and throw it?
It's so weird.
Why does he always seem to find rocks? Oh, dude, he's not finding those. Those are coming out of his stony ass.
Oh
That'll
man.
do it for our monster variant, the Galeb Dur.
Hmm.
Austin, would you like to tell us about our encounter of the podcast?
Absolutely. This actually came from Charles Kuntz, who's one of our patrons. This is Man in a Shell, which almost sounds like Ghost in a Shell, but I don't think that's going to be quite what it's like. While traveling near the sea, you hear a weak voice call for help. His voice is hoarse and ragged. When you inspect him, he seems to have become trapped in a large shell clamped down on his leg. Ow. The party needs to figure out a way to get the shell to release him from its grip. A straight strength check will be almost impossible with the power this shell clamps down. The shell will release on a DC 15 party check. If all but one successfully meet the DC, they can wedge it open enough to pull his leg out. Other possibilities include a sleep spell to lower the DC to 10. They can try to break out of the shell, but AC 20 immunity to piercing and slashing weapons. So it's very tough. It's a very, very big, big evil shell.
Well, I don't even know that it's evil. It's just
Nah,
dangerous.
it's just yeah.
Trying to eat. I think this is cool. Oh, go ahead.
I don't say
Keep-
anything.
Oh.
This is gr-
I think this is really cool, and I think it makes for a very general, not necessarily a villain encounter, but I think we could add something to it. What if this encounter was at the edge of a low tide and the high tide is coming, and if you can't free this guy at a certain time frame, he drowns?
Yeah, get
Um,
that other danger in there.
Yeah. Or,
Sucks to be this guy.
yeah, right?
I don't know how you got it. I ask him like, "How'd you get here? How'd you get this happen to you?"
I like that once again, I like that it's something that just stabbing and swinging isn't really going to solve the issue. I do like the inclusion of using a spell like sleep to lower the DC as it's as it's the shell's, you know, mouth closes or clamps up or loosens its grip or whatever.
clams up.
Alternatively, you can bring a maul to the situation because it is not immune to bludgeoning.
Fair enough. Crack it if you can hit that high AC.
I'm just gonna beat this clam.
I think that, once again, this seems. I like this because it seems so just a thing that's passing by, right?
Almost like a random occurrence.
Yes,
Like,
a
how
good.
did this happen?
This is a good random encounter, I think. As your players are venturing around, maybe they're in the woods and they're making camp, and somebody's out looking for water, right? And so this guy was out fishing in a river or a lake nearby or something. Wouldn't be a lake. Lakes don't have high tides, but river maybe. Maybe it gets fuller as the moon moves. I guess I don't know, but I'm not super into the physics behind that. But I do think that it would need something a little more to heighten the danger. Maybe if you do have people that are in combat that like combat, this poor guy is being circled by like sharks or something in like a few feet of water or something.
More clams.
More clams.
They're all about to snack on him.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? What would you do to really? What do you think about this, and what would you do to heighten the risk, I guess, or the tension? Heighten the tension.
I'd go with more clams. There's not just one clam trying to eat this guy. It's a bunch of clams. They're gonna break his body apart.
Oh,
Or put the clams out try to eat the players when they go into the water.
oh, and then they get caught, and they can't get out, and then the tide is coming in, and they might all drown. I love
And
that.
then there's a giant whale that's on its way too. As like they're all getting pulled into the water, and it's just.
Oh man, that's some.
And then, if they survive, you can have an entire adventure inside the whale, kind of like a whole megalodon situation or a leviathan.
I like that. I was just thinking Pinocchio.
Pinocchio, yeah.
Yeah,
Me too.
very cool. I like that. I think
Definitely had some weird shit. This was a random encounter. Now we have a whole nother adventure to go through.
how the hell do we get out of this thing's stomach? Oh,
Uh,
we could try attack it from the inside. It's like giving it a pinprick, dude.
yeah.
Well, if there's anybody we can count on to be an annoying, give it a prick, would be that prick over there. Point to one of the characters who's a real dick.
Hey!
Oh man.
Oh man, if it's like those whales that catch anything in their teeth and like occasionally its entire stomach just fills with water.
Yeah.
Man, sounds like a lot. This went from a very generic kind of random thing to could go a long ways. Oh, what if
Good.
there's a whirlpool and the clam is attached to him and he's being dragged into a whirlpool instead of a high rise. He's being sucked into this thing.
Oh man.
Maybe that whirlpool leads to the elemental plane.
Yeah.
Always fun to have like random natural occurrences, and it's like, oh, this actually led me somewhere. Also, now I'm in the water plane and I can't breathe. All I see is water and darkness. I'm dying.
Oh man, what if it has a symbiotic relationship? The clam and a water elemental who's stuck. Turns out the whirlpool is a water elemental. The clam captures the stuff and then he sucks it in, and they share the leftovers.
Oh god, that's so weird.
I'm getting really weird on this. I think that'll do it for the encounter. The man in the shell. That poor guy. Thanks, Charles, for your submission.
Yeah, that guy's fucked. Whatever's happening.
Yeah.
Ian, would you like to tell us about our magic item?
Leches are one of the most feared creatures, and for good reason. Even a mere piece of them can be dangerous. Some alchemists have capitalized on this by extracting the fluids from one of these undead beings and turning it into a dangerous weapon to drive their enemies mad. The Flask of Dark Horrors.
Ah.
And what we got here is a wondrous item that's rare. It's a purple and black smoky vapor, which leaks out from the stopper mouth of this onyx bottle, which weighs about 1 pound. When you use an action to remove the stopper, a cloud of the thick smoke pours out from the bottle in a 15-foot cone. A wave of hellish images assaults the minds of those in the area. Each creature in the area must succeed on a DC 14 Wisdom saving throw, or roll on the short-term madness table in the DMG. You cannot use this property again until next dawn.
So you can reuse it.
You can.
Could you imagine just using it and being like, oh my god, that was a terrible idea. That guy is so fucked. I'm so sorry. Oh my god. Could we just, here, you hold this. He's like, well, I can't do anything anymore, can it? Yeah, see, it's fine.
What do you guys think about this?
Fun.
I love it. This is such a wild item.
Yeah, I've
It's
been.
like, I'm going to use this, and now this guy is scarred momentarily. He's just like, I am freaking out. And then you're just kind of staring like, I'm so sorry.
As you once again I mentioned that I've been doing more and more of the consumable generally, where it's like a one-time use. This one's not consumable; you can get it again. Originally it was, but I decided that its ability was way too cool to be a one-time use, so I added that you cannot use it again until the next dawn. But
Plus, it kind of can make sense too, right? Because like liches are kind of like undying kind of things anyway. So like, it's just this infinite bottle of horror,
right.
which is great.
Yep.
I like this stuff.
Yeah, me too. Don't be surprised if you don't see an enemy use this on you.
Yeah.
That'll do it for our magic item, the Flask of Dark Horrors.
You
Very
can
fun.
get E-Flask.
Get in the flask. Did you ever watch that Adam Sandler flick where he's the son of Little Nicky, where he's the son of like the devil and he's trying to get his brothers in the flask? I need you to get in the flask.
I
Oh my
can't
god.
recall it right
Oh
now,
my
but-
god, that shit's funny. His whole face is like this. What happened to you? My brother hit me with a shovel. Oh man, I'm having all kinds of. I gotta stop watching shows while I'm working because I'm having all kinds of these weird flashbacks. Anyways, our Dungeon Master tip of the podcast comes from Arvindum, creating fantasy names. Hello, my memory is awful, so I don't know if I recommended this to you before, but here it goes. I'm doing 2 homebrew campaigns with maps, towns, people, the works. but it's almost tiresome to create so many exotic names and places. So I just let Google Translate do the work for me. For example, in one of my campaigns, I had a player visit the very southern-like town, accents and everything, but I couldn't come up with a cool name. Then I went to Google Translate, found a very unfamiliar language, typed in the word south, and the word that I got back was Sidon. Therefore, I knew what qualities the town had, and my player was none the wiser. This could go for anything to NPCs, monsters, etc. Plus, I drew lines for different regions in the map for different
Nice.
languages. Therefore, it's more coherent and it feels like a world has variety.
There you go.
This is cool.
It's
Uh,
clever.
I actually tinkered with this after I put this in here, and the fact that he went through and highlighted his regions and said, okay, this kingdom is Latin, this kingdom is French, this kingdom is Norse or whatever. I don't know what language, if that's even a language, but um, and utilizing Google Translate by just typing in like the meeting, like or
Mhm.
the meaning of it, and coming up with something in a different language is very clever. I think that would work really, really well unless your friends speak any of those languages, then you might have a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
But I thought this was a great way to come up because this can be hard. It can be hard
Yeah.
coming up with consistent names that fit the theme. That's why there's so many names in the player's handbook and in Xanathars because
Mhm.
coming up with stuff that's consistent and fits a theme, it can be challenging for some DMs. So I thought
Yeah.
that this was a great DM tip.
Mhm.
What do you guys think?
Clever.
I mean, it's something easy to do too, right? You just use Google Translate. Everyone, well, most people who have online access
Yep.
should have access to Google Translate, and you can just literally scroll wheel to whichever one you decide to use,
Yep.
click on it, and then type in whatever you need.
Yep. It's a very powerful tool.
Hmm.
Very simple and straightforward. That'll do it for our Dungeon Master tip creating fantasy names with Google Translate. Our player tip of the podcast is don't be
Don't
a
be a
dick.
dick.
Nice try.
That's why I
Right.
didn't do it.
Forgot about that.
Yeah,
Oh well.
that's okay.
It's
You
habit.
tried. And that's
And
all that
failed.
matters. I want you to know that I appreciate the effort. I do. Now, and you can avoid dickitude by having a joke name. Now, before I turn this over to Ian, I do want to say that one time we did have a player tip that talked about
Not
not
having a joke
picking
name.
joke names, but that's
I know.
because that different tables allow different things, and sometimes it's just the type of campaign you're running. So we
Hmm.
wanted to revisit this. Ian, would you like to tell us about the joke name because this was blowing up all over the internet?
Corruption has spread across the land. The establishment and the theologians twisted forms of what they once were. Though a shadow of their former glory, a scion of the Law family has come of age, sworn his divine oaths, and has taken up his ancestral blade to smite the wicked until they are purged from the land. His name is Law. Martial Law.
All right.
Oh my god, that meme you made with the sriracha just oh my god, that was so funny. And I know you've mentioned that on the show, but to see it in meme form, you
Just
just
made it better.
yeah, you just nailed it. You want to finish that up?
There are many that frown upon joke names, so they feel that those who do are not taking games seriously enough. Too lighthearted or just plain trolling. There are those who do enjoy them, appreciating them for what they are. Sometimes even help create a focus or an archetype for what the character is to be built off of. You never know where it may lead.
Yes, I absolutely thought I was never one for joke names for a long time because I did take my game serious, but then I finally
Mhm.
realized it's a fucking game, people.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I remember even complaining about like, really? You just named your character Steve? I'm like, he was a commoner. He never intended to be a hero. His parents never intended him to be a hero. Of course his name's gonna be Steve.
Uh, but that's a great opportunity for the DM to offer titles and stuff to make it seem more legendary, right? Because
Yep.
do you
Right.
guys ever watch A Knight's Tale? I just watched that the other day, and you've got the main guy who he does a pretty decent job, but he doesn't really have enough personality, so he's got his little redheaded buddy there who just talks him up the whole time and comes up with these long, ridiculous titles and things, and takes a very boring, otherwise uninteresting character and makes him known to the masses.
Behold, the protector of Italian virginity, Sir Ulrich von Liechtenstein.
So, once again, judge your table, talk to your DM, make sure they're okay with something like this.
Yeah.
Or do what Ian does and don't tell anybody till the end, because the DM says, okay, no joke. What'd you say? No funny names, okay? I need serious.
Okay.
And how did that unfold? You what did you do there?
The film which game you're talking about, but there's one where the DM let it go because he just actually figured that out right away. Like, okay, so tell us about your character. I am playing Elven Fire Monk. And he is Bazu, and he comes from the Ka clan. Pauses. Did you really just name your character Bazooka?
Oh my god.
Hey man, if you're a fire monk, you may as well be right.
Right. Was it Bazu of the Ka clan?
Yeah.
And then the meme you just made, for those that didn't actually see it, you want to fill in, and then we'll finish up.
Short version, the DM's like, no joke names. So what's your character? My character's name is Raja. He is a peasant who wishes to leave the family farm and go on adventures and maybe one day be a knight. Alright, that seems reasonable. Several months later. Alright, the king before you says, for the services you have rendered unto the land, I knight you, Sir Raja. You jerk!
Worth it! Oh.
Months of planning.
But anyways, it's okay to have joke names. Just make sure that you talk to the group and everyone you have a good idea what type of campaign. Because if you're running a heavy duty horror theme survival, you don't want fucking Sir Racha to show up or Bazooka.
Okay. Or my very first character, Fruit Bat, the half-orc barbarian. Although the joke there though was in his backstory, somebody once said, "This guy's as dumb as a fruit bat," and it stuck.
And it just kind of stuck. So that's more of a title, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyways, that'll do it for our player tip of the podcast. Don't be a dick, and you can avoid dickitude by having a cool joke name and make sure it works.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, you can't just. Yeah.
The
don't-
martial law one was good, though. I'll be honest. Well, I think that'll do it for our show today. Sorry for the hiccup in the middle. I will be sending a very bad nasty gram to Charter. So I think I'm getting a new modem soon. So, anyways, we hope you guys enjoyed it. Please join us on our next episode. We'll be discussing legendary bestiary, legendary actions for low-level monsters. I am a super fan of this because everyone knows how much I love monster variants. And action economy is huge in D&D. So I don't like to just give bunch of little minions, though. I'd rather have less of them, but more powerful ones, personally.
Right.
Which is why my monsters kill so many people. Because did that goblin just hit me with a polearm and stop me dead in my traps? Yes, he did. Don't be such a punk bitch. You're not the only one that can master the polearm.
This random ass goblin.
Actual conversation that went down. Anyways, so I'm super excited for that. Austin, would you like to close us out?
Sure. If you have any feedback on our tips and tricks or topics you would like us to discuss, please send them to us. You can email them to us at critacademy@gmail.com, or you can find us on Twitter and Facebook at Crit Academy. We're pretty much everywhere. Just type in Crit Academy. We're there.
Yep.
We're like the plague right now. The COVID. Oh no.
We hope you enjoyed your experience here at Crit Academy. If you did, you can help others find the show by leaving a, hopefully, 5-star review on iTunes, or just send us a message telling us how much you enjoyed the show. And also, be sure to give us a like and a share.
Yeah. I'm supposed to take over there, but my thing's being stupid. Make sure to subscribe to our show at critacademy.com. Follow us on twitch.tv/critacademy. And subscribe to us on YouTube so we can help you on your future adventures. As well as be entered to win cool prizes each and every single week. We give away fat loots all the time. We freaking make it rain, all right? Wizards of Coast has been giving you guys free stuff, and they've got nothing on us. Oh, that's funny. Also, please make sure to check out our fellowship members. There are dozens of great content creators out there. Make sure you're following them. Game Master Stash, The Kind GM, Oricon's Lair, Lore Smith. I love Lore Smith's content. Also, make sure to, if you like other podcasts or want to check out other podcasts, follow Gabe and Jeff. Go to their, right now, I challenge you, go to their Facebook and follow them. Those guys are awesome, and you need to be listening to their shit. Interparty Conflict is just a fantastic show, full of humor and great answers to questions. Also, check out Brute Force and Ignorance. I don't listen to very many actual plays. Theirs is one of the ones that I really did enjoy. I haven't listened to it in a while because I don't drive in my car hardly at all right at the moment, but definitely check those guys out as well. I am your host, Justin.
I'm your co-host Austin.
And I'm your co-host, Dan. Thanks for listening.
Don't forget our Dark Tides of Damodan comes out this Wednesday. Keep an eye out because I got a really special surprise for the release. Keep your blades sharp and spells prepared, heroes. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We truly appreciate it. If you're not following us on Twitch and everything, please do that. That way you'll be notified. And as soon as I find the thing here, I will close it out. But so there we go.